This podcast contains discussions about sensitive topics, including mental health, alcohol and substance use, as well as suicide. It may also include strong language. The viewpoints expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to a trusted professional or a helpline. Welcome to Twist the Throttle, the podcast where we crank open the throttle on life's toughest rides. From mental health struggles to life on two wheels. We're here to have real, raw, unscripted conversations that break the stigma and help you navigate the road ahead. So grab your helmet, hit the road with us, and remember, it's still okay to pump the brakes. Together, we're shifting gears on mental health. Here's your hosts, Ambo and the Prez.
So welcome back, listeners. Another week has passed, and this week we're going to be doing a little bit of a catch-up on how we're going between me and El Jefe. He's been away on holiday, which doesn't matter to you guys because you guys wouldn't realise that.
No, still putting out episodes while we were away. It was still good.
Yeah, but he's been very, very missed. Yeah.
So, one of the first questions I wanted to ask you, mate, was, do you remember the moment I asked you if you wanted to do a podcast together?
Was it me that came up with the first idea?
Yeah, you kind of said a while back you wanted to do one. Yeah.
I know, gave me the push in the right direction. Yeah, I'm glad I'm doing it with you. I don't know how I would have gone. It probably would have been a bit of a whiz and a fizz and all over and done with if I'd done it by myself. Yeah,
it's much easier when you got someone to bounce off. Yeah, you're not trying to fill all the voids and all the rest of it. Yeah, no, it's much more fun with someone you can trust. And
I had the right concept. Probably would have been a little bit different genre to what we're doing now. It would have been probably more about me and the struggles of life I kind of been through and whatnot.
We're happy to go through that.
It's a pretty big book, mate. I think we're kind of going through it.
We're going through it slowly with what we're doing now. So
yeah, I think the listeners would have been, start to recognise each one of us and growing with us.
Yeah,
I haven't really had a lot of feedback on.
It's been a bit.
There has been a little bit.
Most of the feedback we've got's been positive.
Outside of our group, though.
Yeah, I've had a few people. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, no, it's been all right. Yeah, one of the biggest surprises is one of the guys Trish works with.
Yeah.
So shout out to Jacob, who probably surprised to hear his name on the show. Listens to us every week. Yeah, not from our world, but likes the vibe we have, and yeah, it's been pretty.
No, I've been meaning to talk about maybe sometimes not actually being along the bike lines and changing up the narrative a little bit to be more on the mental health side of things.
Definitely. The guest pool that we've been working with has been from the bike community, but we are going to be trying to reach out, get a few more people in. I've spoken to, I said before, the Shaka Project guys that can come on.
Yeah, that's right.
My sister, the mental health nurse, her partner who does the text line.
I can think of people that aren't actually bike related that would be a really interesting listen as well.
That's part of it, yeah. With shifting gears, it's all about that conversation. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Looking back at our first episode, what do you think we did right? Anything that you're cringing about now?
Do you know what?
A bit further into it.
Lately, I've been consuming a lot of our old episodes,
ones,
and you know what? I'm pretty proud of what we've accomplished over the 15. I think we're up to.
Yeah. I think one of the best things for me is like watching like your growth behind the microphone. Like there's a lot more confidence backing your own.
I was pretty nervous. Yeah, I have to admit, I was pretty nervous. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of my own voice.
No, it is jarring the first time you hear yourself in an interview. That's for sure. I remember when I first started the podcast with Lee back in the day, I was like, do I sound like that? I don't like that at all. But yeah, great to get used to it, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I quite enjoy listening to our episodes.
Yeah.
All those listen hours.
And a lot of the feedback we do get from our people, that our regular listeners, are the rapport between us has grown really good. Yeah, we bounce off each other pretty well. And
yeah, well, it helps with editing.
I did defend you recently. Someone was saying like, when you guys are asking questions, sometimes it sounds like Sarge's just reading something. I was like, that's because if the conversation stops, I kind of just go, hey, you got something there to read.
It's also like, it's the flow. So when you're listening to the podcast, each one has a very similar flow.
Yeah.
So you can tell when I'm reading the questions. I've listened to and I don't know if having questions is the right answer, but it's good to have a structure as well.
It's
because
more like
we kind of expect a question to come up eventually.
Yeah, we kind of say it's not a structured show. We don't have a script and stuff like that. We have questions for if a conversation dies, we have something to fall back on. Yeah. So we're not standing there going like, oh fuck, what do we talk about now? Yeah, like I kind of write something for each show, just like, here's a couple of questions, what do you think? And then we add, and if a conversation goes in a certain direction, we're happy to follow that. Yeah, I think Wiggles episode was a pretty good one for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we went pretty deep into the weeds.
Yeah, it was good.
Troy was another good one. He kind of had a story to tell, and we didn't have to do much of our questions at all.
I really enjoyed re-listening to his episode. He has got a real good flow, and we could learn a lot from him.
What's been your biggest surprise? The thing you're most surprised by, the aspect of doing this?
Like I said, I'm pretty proud of what we've created.
Yeah.
I was a bit nervous. I haven't really shared it a lot with my friends and family because they're not all motorbike riders. Re-listening to it, I've actually realised that it goes deeper than just motorbikes.
Our thing is the bikes are our therapy, and we've covered that in so many episodes now. Like it's not just about mental health. It's just that's the people we hang out with. That's our group, our tribe. We say yeah,
that's right.
So having it sort of based on that gives me a target for who to get in for interviews and things like that, which makes it a bit more bike centric.
What's the surprising thing for you?
Biggest surprise for me, I guess, is we've had listeners from all over the world. We get on Spotify, our platform says, there's something like 2% of the listeners are from the US, and we've got a mate over in Guam that tunes in and listens to us. It looks good when there's like a growing audience. Yeah, we've got we're not a huge base at the moment, probably about 100 consistent listeners, which is pretty amazing.
We're not targeted on motorcycles 100%.
Yeah.
Diversify out from the mental health.
Well, we definitely can. Yeah, the mental health stuff's where just talking about it is what we need to get out there.
Oh, that's right. And I enjoy listening to like other people's ideas, and I do a lot of talking at petrol stations.
It's an ongoing theme with the show. Has there been any guests or topics that really stuck out with you or changed your perspective?
Okay, so we've had a few guests. Have been a tough interview, to be honest.
Yeah, we've had some go not so well,
and we've tried to do 2 interviews in one day, and we've realised that
it drains us, man. Like I don't think people realise the effort involved in.
The next interview afterwards was very lackluster. We lost the edge and the bite.
100%. We were flat, and we sounded flat.
You could definitely hear it.
Yeah, it sounded.
You could hear it in our voices and whatnot.
I think one of the biggest surprise interviews for me that didn't go well was Jiggles. One of our closest mates, and
I think
I've known the bloke the longest, and it was just shit, and not his fault. Like we were trying to do a second interview that day, and because we'd left him waiting so long,
he'd had a couple of beers.
He got very merry. So by the time the interview came around, it was
very dry.
It was like, that's not kind of where we wanted to go with that. And he's got a better story to tell than we were able to get out of him. So we're going to get him back, and I've already organised to get him back and do that.
No, it's good. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of great feedback. What's the message or comment that our listeners really hit home for you?
I think the best feedback I got was from Rockhard, who's one of our guests. He just said he listening to us, the rapport you can hear between you and I is he knows us personally, and he said it comes through that you guys
you can feel it. You're a part of it.
Yeah, you actually sit there listening and like talking back to the phone while you're listening to a podcast is like joining in the conversation when we can't hear you.
Yeah. So for me, there was a couple actually. Dan come up was like he got emotional listening to me talking about missing him and whatnot.
Oh yeah, so Dan Fingers is going to come on the show soon. Hopefully, probably get him in the next couple of weeks. I'll try and get him through.
So me and him work very closely.
Yeah, and, one of your best mates.
I kind of don't have that person to bounce issues off now. It kind of gets bottled up during the day rather than released.
Yeah,
over one certain moment.
I try and crack you open, mate. You're a hard case.
I'm a hard case. That's all right. So also Daisy. Listening to you interview Daisy,
that was good fun. Actually, the best part of that for me was I had my little questions of written out, and I didn't know how far to push her.
Yeah.
And we got through half an hour, and she's like, "You can ask me anything."
Yeah. And
then we did another half an hour. Like we did a full hour interview, and she was just loving it, and she's a good kid.
And I'm loving the way you edit. Okay, we do a lot of editing. That's the reason why we don't have video up. Is
people have asked why don't we have video, and it's a lot to do with me fumbling through it all and making it sound good in post. Like
everything you edit out, you have to take out of a video as well. It becomes a bigger.
It could. If I knew how to do the video editing, I don't think it's that much extra on
nobody
top of
needs
it.
to see me, mate. Big fluffy dude. You don't need to see me. So those are the two people that have really stood out for me.
Yeah. Have you had anyone approach you that you didn't expect to say, hey, I listened to the show?
So my parents have listened.
Oh, they have now?
Not as much as what I thought they would have. I hope they're listening to this. I do speak about them a little bit. I do love my parents, but I'm a bit pissed off because they're moving away from home. Yeah, they're moving 3 hours away, and I've got to commute.
Yeah, like
It becomes a bigger journey to go and see him. I actually have to plan around it instead of just going, popping over.
Yeah, well, we did have that conversation. Getting later in life, you kind of want to spend more time with your parents now. So
I understand why they're doing it. I can't be angry with them for the reason they're doing it. They're nearing retirement now. They're getting old.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
But it's been 3 hours. 3 hours away is
yeah. I mean, if I could get away from people, that would be pretty awesome. This holiday made me realize the job I have where I'm just dealing with people all the time, you get jack of it a little bit, I'll be honest.
So have you had any in-person moments where people have said, hey, I listened to Twist the Throttle, caught you off guard?
We're not famous enough yet to have people coming up to us going, hey, I love your show or whatever. But we're also looking at getting if we get the tent thing going for any of the rides and stuff, that could happen.
So I went down Geelong Bike Night and I had the banner. We got a banner made.
Yeah.
I had that out with the cards.
Yeah, I think I put the post. I think it's actually my profile picture.
Yeah, Roger. So I sat there and watched people walk past and have a look. Yeah. I want to get the message out there. It is like we're very targeted towards bike.
Not only that, it's really hard to stand out as a podcast. We are good to listen to. People have told us we're good to listen to. So we've got that thing between us where it's actually mates talking to each other, which people can relate to. It's just finding our audience and being able to market that. Like, I'm not really good at the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
If I can spend more time, or if we can spend more time in that side of things.
Well, I've had my throttle twisted back for a little while. It's about to get reopened up. So I'm hoping to be out there a lot more and handing out cards and talking to people about what we do.
Yeah. Getting down, I think Geelong Bike Night's on this weekend. What type of conversations have we had because of the podcast that you wouldn't normally have had otherwise? I guess for me, more people are opening up a bit more because they feel like they know us a bit better.
Yeah.
People that we already kind of talk to. I remember I took one of our mates who's going to come on the show again, Manny, for a moment because he wasn't doing too well. And he's said, listen to the podcast, he feels like he's talking to us.
It's good. And I feel that people open up to us quite well.
Yeah.
They're flowing. They've kind of listened to how the dynamic is with the episode. They were more willing to open up.
I think one of the funny things for me, people know you and I a lot better now than we really know them, if that makes sense, because we put a lot more of ourselves out there in the show and people feel more comfortable talking to us, and we're sort of like, okay.
But that's a good thing. I'm an open person.
Oh, absolutely.
You've only just caught a snippet of some of the shit that I've done. I'm a good person at heart, and I do good things.
Absolutely.
I've done some fucking terrible shit in my life too, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's all about redemption, mate. If I'm not proud of who I was in the past, and my motto I live my life by. I had this conversation with my daughter the other day. It's just be better. Yeah, every day try and be better than you were yesterday.
I feel our conversations have been, as the podcasts have gone on, I've opened up and added in little bits and pieces where I can, where it kind of fits in with the conversation.
Yeah. Our second episode was my interview of you, and that could have been a 2-hour episode. We could have easily. You weren't as open then as you are now, which is kind of what this is about today as well. Trying to
it's a bit of therapy for me.
Thanks
a lot for listening.
Yeah, get a little bit out.
Twist the Throttle Ewan edition.
twist the Ewan.
Since starting the Twist the Throttle, do you think it's changed? We've changed as people.
Has it changed us in any way?
I think definitely it's changed me.
Yeah,
I'm much more able to. I'm about to say I can get all my words out. I'm fucking struggling. Try and get me to say specifically. I can't fucking say specifically or whatever. We're not going to fucking do that for 20 minutes.
We should.
But I think speaking in public, or actually speaking for people to consume, I'm a lot
more comfortable.
More open.
Yeah, more comfortable actually opening your mouth. Yeah. For me, I think it made me reassess my mental health a bit, and I went back on medication because I wasn't doing too well, and I kind of realized part of the drive to do this show was needing someone to talk to. So so it was good in that respect for me. It got me back on the antidepressants, which I was really happy I got off, but they do help. Yeah, if you take them the right way and to keep them consistent. It's just the difference between waking up and not wanting to jump off a fucking bridge, to be honest. Hard to, the reason we do this is because it's hard for guys to talk to other people. And I'm probably the worst at it, to be honest. Like, I can talk on this microphone for fucking hours, but get me alone and I kind of rather hear your problems and talk about mine.
Yep.
Yeah. And everyone says, oh, he's such a good listener. Yeah, that's because I don't want to fucking talk.
Yeah, so I'm more open now.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more comfortable within myself. I'm not, because I've spoken to my parents about me doing the podcast and the things I'm going to be talking about, I'm more open because I'm not concerned about what they're going to be hearing.
I remember you were at the start.
I was a little bit concerned.
You were like, oh, they didn't know about this and they didn't know about that. And you're like, yeah, well, mate, they probably did. They just didn't.
Oh, no, they did say, you think we're fucking dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love your dad. I've only met him a couple of times, but he's always been super.
Genuine.
Yeah. And just the pride he has in looking at you is pretty cool.
Yeah, so...
you probably don't see that as much.
Recently, I got some tattoos.
Yes.
I was expecting... A lot more kickback from my parents. Go, what the fuck are you thinking, boy?
Yeah.
But they were actually, I think they realised how much Rust Nuts means to me and how proud I am of it. And I feel that they're proud of what I'm doing as well.
Yeah, I think the breast cancer awareness ride was one of the first times I met your dad, and he was holding the sign and watching 80 bikes roll up and you leading it, sort of thing. He was like, I get it now. Yeah,
this goes much further than just being a bikie.
Yeah, he's not a bikie doing drugs and all the rest of the shit. He's actually doing community stuff, which is what we're all about.
Have you found yourself applying anything you've talked about in the podcast in your own real life? So I personally did. I did a bit of a reach out to a person I wouldn't have normally reached out to. Yeah,
when we were doing the weekly challenge thing.
Yeah. So that was good. Have I helped anybody? I think I helped somebody. That can I pinpoint it? I'm pretty sure I helped somebody that I wouldn't just went out of my way to do something kind and nice for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So has anything like that happened for you? What have you done from the podcast? Is it?
Look, I'm pretty much the same person. Like, I've always been the person people come to, and I've always made myself available as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets a bit much overall, but I think I had a couple of mates reach out that I hadn't spoken to for a while who had heard the podcast, and one of them laid a story on me that I was like, dude, I don't think I can help you, but you do definitely need to speak to someone about this, because he's from down the valley. I won't mention names or what's going on, but he's definitely been through some shit that he needs to get sorted. So
that's right.
Yeah, it was like, I'm happy to talk to you, mate, but this is beyond talking to a mate for 8 minutes. This is, you need help. Yeah, you need help. But he's it's a work related thing, and he's got all the support networking from his working place. So hopefully, hopefully he gets that going.
You got to think, a lot of my stuff comes from work related stuff too.
Yeah.
I put a lot of effort into work. Yeah, I love going to work. I really enjoy it. I commit to it 100%. When things aren't going right, I fucking suffer.
Yeah. We had the chat today. Like, you got here and you were looking pretty down. And
I've really struggled.
I don't think a lot of people put enough stock into how much of your time you commit to a job.
Yeah.
Like, if you add up your week, you do, like, even if it's just 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 40 hours. And you probably spend another 40 with your family and friends and stuff, if you're lucky, over the 7 days, not over 5. So it's a massive part of your day, like part of your life. Like, I spend more time at work than I do sleeping or anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's frustrating the people around you as well. I work for a company that's got quite a number of employees, and there's people that just fly by. I think when you actually care about the work you do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think something you and I have in common is just pride in what we do.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not proud of what I'm doing, why would I do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not just picking up a paycheck. I want to be
exactly. I want to love what I do.
I want to finish my day and go, like, I made a difference. I did something today.
I do that every day.
Yeah,
I'm proud of what I do. Like, the last week was a tough week for me. Yeah, I started off. Monday was hard.
No,
Tuesday was.
You just missed me, mate.
Wednesday was hard. By the time I got to Thursday, I'm like, fucking, we're nearly there. Yeah. I can do this. Yeah. I got to Friday and I was like, can pat myself on the back. I fucking did it.
Did not think that was going to happen.
And it was a tough week. And, people around me feel it as well. Yeah. People say, oh, good morning. I see, I'm fucking yet to fucking see if it's a good morning. You take the good part off. You go, morning.
Morning.
It's not fucking good. It's Monday, mate. And it's 4 a.m. in the morning.
Well, I'm working for a company that seems to actively be working against what I want to do.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
That's kind of brutal.
I feel that from my work as well at the moment. I hope hope he's listening.
Yeah.
You're flooding us with work and expecting us to polish fucking turds. Yeah,
if you are listening, I fucking thank you for your efforts. Goes a long way, mate.
Yeah, fucking 6-pack of beer on a Friday afternoon would go fucking make me pretty happy.
That's for someone who doesn't drink.
I would drink it just because you gave it to me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The appreciation. Another thing in life, I've been cheering up and I've been doing a bit of healthy eating. I guess.
I'm massively
I've been posting pictures of everything in the group chat with this Hello Fresh, mate. I'm kicking ass with
It's so good, isn't it? Like,
and beautiful meals.
They're nice meals. Is not it's the pressure of having to think what to eat every day.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, like you get home and you're like, I don't have to go to the supermarket and get a steak and a fucking potato and all that. I'm like, it's all there. You're just ready to go. Like,
oh, exactly, mate. Yeah. Sometimes some meals are a bit harder to make than others, and I enjoy the challenge.
The challenge, yeah. How's Ez going with it?
Ezzy's loving it.
Yeah.
There's a couple there that he hasn't enjoyed very much, but
it's all finding your taste as well.
Personally, I love all the meals that have been coming through.
So you sit down and go through and do the selection every week of what's
I go through them, pick, and the cost is about $100 a week. Some weeks are a little bit more expensive.
Extra if you get a premium meal.
Yeah, if you change something around and you put a bit nicer meat or whatever.
I think Trish got us down. We do with HelloFresh. We do four meals a week. We're not sponsored by HelloFresh, by the way. We just
no. But hey,
if you do want to throw some money our way,
hey, hit me up because they have a deal. If you actually do want a HelloFresh meal, hit me up because I can give you a code and you get a free box to trial, and I get a $60 credit, which is even better. But yeah, no, I'm thoroughly enjoying cooking a bit healthier. Like
that's good, man.
I wouldn't normally have a salad with a dinner, but fucking every night I'm having a fucking salad, and it's so simple. Like a cucumber with the lettuce and a bit of carrot, salt and pepper.
There's a couple of good ones.
Fucking put salt and pepper with it.
There's a couple of good ones that come through that are like apple, like sliced apple.
Yeah, beautiful.
Never would have thought of that in a salad before you left.
Delicious. And you know what? I was spending a hell of a lot more money on fucking food than $100 for 5 meals.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm saving money as well, which is even better.
So you get the 4 meals a week?
I get 5 meals a week.
Yeah. And then you just take it when you can't be fucked or whatever.
Yeah.
Still good.
Or I go around and see mum and make mum cook for me. Thanks, mum.
Good job, mum. Thanks for listening.
She normally rubs it in and says, guess what we had for dinner last night?
I grew up, my stepdad, my dad, guy who raised me, was a really good cook. He passed away last year. My mum, amazing cook as well. All my sisters love cooking, and I just kind of missed that gene, I didn't get that one. I was kind of eat what I needed to and get the hell out of the house as quickly as possible. But yeah,
so I've been super proud of Daisy. So we mentioned just before that you had Daisy on, and I noticed a bit of a change in her. Like she came over just weekend being, but just a couple of weeks back. She was making the HelloFresh meals.
Oh, nice.
Enjoying like
the cooking,
helping me, and actually did the dishes, and like left a fucking shit ton of mess, but more mess than the dishes she did. But anyway, she's growing up. She's turning 13 very soon. Which is
starting to get that age where she's going to want to go out on.
Yeah, she had her own money to go to the shops. Can you take me to the shops? And went and bought her own stuff. Like,
beautiful.
It's good to see the progress.
13 to 18 is the hardest time for being a dad of girls because that's when they start picking a path, like they can either be the scholar that's going to be, go far in school, or they're going to fuck up, or they work out that boys are out there. And
she does need to learn to pick her friends a little bit more wisely. I know she's a good girl at heart, but she's messing around with the wrong crew at the moment.
Look, that always happens.
Yeah, we all did. It's recognizing that some people are sour or negative and not going into them, maybe being the positive person in a friendship and leading them in the right direction rather than you being led down the wrong path by them.
Well, I actually have a bit of a story about that. It happened over the holiday. It was my birthday while I was away.
Yeah,
so 48. Thanks, mate. 48 now, fucking getting old. One of the guys I was in high school with, I was never good at school. I think later in life I realised now probably ADHD was a big part of that. Not making excuses, just it makes fucking sense. I repeated year 10 because the first year I was supposed to go into year 11 was the first year of VCE in Victoria, and they sort of sold it as this is going to be the fucking hardest thing you've ever done in your life. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready.
Yep.
So I Past year 10,
Yeah.
I passed year 10 barely,
Yep.
and so I stayed back a year. The problem with staying back a year was my schools all amalgamated with like the 5 local schools became one big school. So for the first time, my tech school had girls everywhere.
Okay, that
as a
spanner in the works.
15-year-old boy, that was not the fucking best way to get my education, because I was like, all of a sudden, hey, look at that, look at that, yeah.
I can smell it.
But in that year, like I had a conversation with a bloke who reached out to me, Adam, who was one of the guys in the class that sort of accepted me straight from the start, because I kind of felt like the dumb kid that had to repeat, you know, like, but it was all new people, so it wasn't as bad. And I said to him, you know, like I'll always remember you, mate. You're one of the first people that was nice to me in that new year and that new school setup. And he was like, you were one of the popular kids, and I was like, no, I knew everyone.
Yeah.
But I was never the popular kid.
Yeah,
like I'd walk down the hall, I'd shake hands with everyone and be like, everyone knew who I was.
Hey,
everyone knew who I was, but there was a core group of people that really made that year for me to get through it. And I sort of told him that, and he's like surprised by that, and he was like, no, I guess like, thanks for that. Like, it was a good little chat. Yeah. Like, people don't realize, what you look like from the outside isn't always what's going on the inside.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
I may have come across as the popular cool kid in school, but I definitely fucking wasn't. Like,
me in school, I kind of was I popular? Yeah, I was kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
I would never, I didn't
it's where you want your kids.
I was, guess what? I was the person that actually stood up for the people that got picked on.
Yeah, that was kind of me as well. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason we're mates. We've got the similar personalities. Yeah, you're a bit bigger and scarier, but same logic behind it all.
Again, I'm a very cuddly person. Feel free to come up for a cuddle.
Please cuddle.
Don't talk about the things that poke you in the leg. What's been the biggest WTF moment during our podcast for you, mate?
For me, I think the realization of how much work goes into editing and how much actually has to happen.
You're fucking amazing.
Oh, no, look, I think it's the program I use, to be honest.
Mate, you do it. I did a little bit, so if you guys listen to Ezzy's episode, I edited Ezzy's. It's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun, and it's trying to pick out. I said to Trish, I was sitting there the other day, and there was like, you see the sound wave file on the screen. I can recognize words now.
Yeah. in the fucking Matrix is coming out. So, you reach in and split it apart with your hands.
I can tell where my laugh is, like what it looks like. I can tell where me going, yeah, right, or fucking something that I'm just sort of filling in space.
Yeah.
We have this conversation, like when you're talking to somebody in real life, in person, if they're talking to you to prove that you're engaged and like that, you kind of add like, oh yeah.
You kind of agree.
Yeah, you've got to learn to stop. You've gotten that flow, but on a podcast,
and when you're talking two people at the same time, you can't edit out when you're talking both at the same time.
Exactly. Over the top. You
can't edit this.
There are quite a few ums and ahs that get left in because I can't cut it without cutting out someone else's sentence. But that's more the program I use. As I said, if I had the more advanced ones, you can break it up into 3 different feeds and whatever else. And it's, just a little peek behind the scenes.
But like I said, you're doing a really amazing job. He has done the lines. One fact, he's done the biggest share of editing.
Oh, look,
I need to invest in a bigger computer. So that
it's more, I enjoy that. Yeah. Like that time you did the Ezzy episode, I was kind of like nervous. I'm like, it's like you've taken my baby here. Like, let's do it. Yeah. It's a learning curve. And I think the what the fuck part is one of the episodes, I thought I fucking deleted half of it and I couldn't find it. And then I realized it was just like I'd pushed like half an hour of free space in the middle of the episode somehow. And like, if you're listening to that episode, it would have been like talking 30 minutes of nothing, and then the talking would have started again. Like, but it took me like an hour to work out what the fuck I'd done. Yeah. And I was like, what am I doing? What's happened here? And I couldn't, it was good. It was just a funny moment for me.
Yeah. For me, it was Troy's episode, mate. I walked down from there. I was buzzing.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that now. Listening back to the podcast, I've listened to pretty much all the episodes again in the last week.
Yeah.
So all those listen hours are from me. But yeah, I get butterflies from listening to it. I'm just blown away by how good we've become.
Yeah. I think the best thing about that was it wasn't just a guest that is a person that we know. It was someone from mental health. Yeah,
That's right.
They had something to talk about.
And it flowed.
And it flowed really well. Troy was using us as a practice to go on to bigger and better podcasts.
Yeah, so just remember us, mate, when you're
So if you're listening, Troy, mention us on those ones you're going on, please. It was good. It was just the guests really drive a lot of our show. We found that with our, without naming names, one that bombed really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed. But we knew it. We walked down and we looked at each other and went, that was not good.
So early on, what we were doing, or what I was doing when I was approaching people to be guests, was sending them out a list of questions and going like, hey, this is kind of where I want the show to go. Yeah, this is kind of what we're talking about.
But we learn. Like, we're learning.
And they were like, okay. And then this guy came in with like a written script. And I was like, ooh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be sending the questions out.
Yeah.
So I've kind of switched it up going forward from now, where I've a couple of guests who have got coming up, I've said, hey, send me your life story. Yeah, like write yourself a little bio, and I'll base some questions on what you tell us.
Yeah,
and see how we go from that. So
and that's much better.
We haven't done an episode of that yet.
No,
but
okay.
Yeah, so hopefully that's going to be.
But I
did get a little bit from Wiggle, but
yeah, I have noticed it in the later episodes that we're starting to the questioning and whatnot. Even though you can tell that I'm reading. Okay, listeners, thank you very much. It's flowing a lot better. Yeah,
and it's the rapport we've built. That's it.
I think
we know what to expect, and we know how to fill the gaps, and because we are listening to ourselves, we know what sounds good, what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I can say that for sure. Why do you think we're so passionate about this? What keeps us coming back every week?
Do you know what? I think we are making a difference. I bring it out in the episodes that it's important to know who to contact, and I like to know, and I like to know that people, if somebody come to you and they want help, do you know who to send them to? It's like that CPR thing. If you don't know how to give CPR, don't help.
Don't try.
Yeah. So at work, we've got the healthy heads and something sheds. And it sounds like that. It's one of the workplace ones. I'm pretty sure if you wanted to do outside of work, you could do it, but it'd be a cost. Obviously, nobody's going to be wanting to pay for services like that.
We had, EAP, which is the Employment Assistance Program at Telstra, which was, you could call up, they gave you like 3 free psych appointments or something like that, like psychology appointments. And I took that up towards the end of my first marriage because I was really not doing well.
I called it up and I got kind of, why the fuck are you calling us?
Yeah.
It's a personal thing, but you got to think of it's work. I work for your company and I'm having troubles because of something that something at home.
It's going to affect me at work. It's going to affect at work too.
Yeah. No, I got the cold shoulder. I wasn't too impressed. I can't remember which company that was. I would fucking diss them out.
You'd name them. One of the biggest things that keeps me coming back every week is you, mate. Yeah, like getting to know you. Like a lot of listeners don't know, or probably may have picked up over the time. Ambo's one of my best mates by far. We're building a bike together.
Hey, baby. Right.
He's just someone that I know I could call at any time of the day. Everyone says you need that 3 a.m. friend.
That's me, bud. Yeah, I'm there for you. 100%. Make sure you phone me because
don't text.
I'm normally asleep. But if you call me
if I call you at 3 a.m., I'm getting you out of the shower to go to work, right?
If you're calling me at 3 a.m., I've got my shovel and I'm knocking on the door. Yeah,
exactly. That's rare. I don't think people realize how rare that actually is. Yeah, you've got your mates that you think you've known forever and are going to be there for you. But
you sent me something on. You're a big Instagram fan.
I am. It's terrible.
You sent me one, and it was a guy talking about who's your role model. It was on a podcast.
I think he was talking to his son.
You put this up with the show notes, the video if you can. And I turned around and sent messages straight away and said, "That's fucking you to me, but
it's the other way around." We both had the same thought. So what I think what that video was it was a guy asking his son, "Who's your role model?" Yeah. His son was like, "You are," and he's like, "I don't have my shit together. Like, why would I be your role model?" He goes, "Because you keep going." Yeah, like no matter what, you keep going, and that was I was like, "Fuck, that's Ambo for me,"
and that's you for me, bro. That's
we're gonna hug. Well, there's a fucking real moment for your listeners.
But that brought me to tears. I thought, fuck, that touches the soul. Yeah,
definitely.
And it's nice to have somebody like that. And
I think it's more it's respect. You know what I mean? It's not taken for granted. It's appreciated. It's not. I don't think there's anything you could ask of me that I wouldn't say fucking yes to.
Exactly right. And same reciprocated, mate.
Yeah, beautiful. That's why we do this. Yeah, because we can fucking rely on each other for shit. And
that's it. And if we can make that happen for somebody else.
Yeah, well, we keep going back to our conversation is, trying to get this topic out there. And, you've just heard us actually have a legitimate, fucking 4 a.m. drunk on the back step, fucking love you, mate conversation.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to put ourselves out there because you should be able to. There shouldn't be judgment on shit like that. Yeah, it shouldn't be having to be drunk and
no, that's right.
That vulnerable moment you have. Yeah, like there's no reason you can't. Like I tell all my mates I fucking love them. Yeah,
no, I struggle to do it, but now I realize I need to tell the people around me that I love them and I appreciate what they do for me. Yeah, and I do. Everybody within the Rust Nuts I love personally. And, I would do anything for them. And as I know, I don't really ask. They would do it for me.
Oh, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you're probably one of the only people in the world that I actually lean on for shit, like to get stuff done because I can't do it myself or it's going to fuck me up or it's going to hurt me if I do it myself. And I know you would fucking hurt yourself for me, which I'm not saying I'll put you in shit situations, but
I'll do it, bro.
Yeah. I know you do. But it's more, how do I put it? Having that trust in somebody else that you can ask and not be told, fucking do it yourself or whatever. Yeah. Like,
hey, but I'm not afraid to tell you, fucking pull your pants up, mate. You're a big boy.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. I laugh because in my family, I'm the tools guy.
Yep.
And in the Rust Nuts, no one will let me hold a fucking screwdriver.
Fucking look out. Jeff's got a spanner again. Oh, no.
We just had our Prez run. You would have heard us mention our Prez run and talk about that. We had a couple of moments on that were to be repeated was, one of our mates came off who's been on the show, tried to bounce once more. Yeah. And I think it was a real testament to our club that there was 20 or 30 bikes on the side of the road with her where she came off. Now luckily it wasn't anything super serious. She is still hurt, but she's on the mend.
Do you know what? She's not afraid to get back on the bike.
That's the best part.
I think it might be a stepping stone, little steps, but she's committed to get back on the bike.
The funny thing about that moment was when the cops were there and there was bikes everywhere.
So we were
on a corner on the Great Ocean Road, and he said, "You guys need to move on." And everyone just was like, "Oh no!" So
we can run through the situation. It was a hairpin corner that tightened, so it was a left-hand turn, and it was like a hairpin. So it was a 25 km/h corner. And so you'd go around. This is describing it for your mind. You go round the corner to the left, and then it got tighter further on in the corner. And this is a very notorious corner that the policeman said.
Where she ended up was the runoff because it happened so often. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this was in the twisties that I'd already taken off because this was a bit of the dickhead session.
Yeah.
And so the fast riders had taken off. Yeah. Of course.
Not the speed limit officer.
Oh, the riders that can ride. I wasn't going over the speed limit. What's the speed limit on that road? 150?
Yeah. Enough that my fucking headlight fell out.
Anyway, so I was well ahead of the pack. I didn't realise what had gone on. I'd actually made it all the way to the accommodation. Yeah. And I'm sitting there wondering where the hell everybody was sitting there waiting, which is normal for me, sitting there waiting. 15 minutes had passed and then I got the phone call saying, "Oh, fucking bounce had fallen off."
Yeah.
Terrible. And that the coppers
the phone call.
And the police were there, and I was like, "Oh, not a great idea to go racing back up there."
Yeah. It was the phone call I've dreaded since we started the club, basically. Yeah, like no disrespect to Bam, but she was super worried, obviously super close with Bounce. Bam's like called me, but my comms was playing up and I couldn't talk back to her.
Yep.
So I pulled over to actually call her, and she pulled up on the other side of the road. And she's like, "Nicole's come off," and then just took off. So I was expecting the worst. Yeah. Like I had no idea what I was riding back to. So I got back there fucking quick. Like,
yeah.
And obviously got over to her and she was laughing when I got there. So I was like, "Oh, thank fuck for that." Like it's nothing major. And it was, like I said, it was a testament to the club that nobody wanted to leave until we made sure.
Yeah, coppers had said, "Come on, move on."
Yeah, move on. We're like, "Well, we'll move the bikes, but we're not going until she's in the bus." Yeah, so.
No, we don't leave family.
Yeah, no, it was fucking awesome. It was a really, really.
So I ended up going back up there.
Yeah, I got Bam up to you.
Yeah.
So we could get one of the bikes back because obviously we needed to get a bike out of the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty sad moment when you see one of your comrades in the back of an ambulance sucking on that green whistle. It tastes horrible. It's so fucking yuck. Fucking tastes gross.
Can I overturn? Yeah. I did my usual dickhead thing where I ran over as soon as I made sure she was okay. There was luckily enough, there was a nurse who stopped. It was just happened to be going past at the time that made sure she was comfortable and made sure everything was going well.
Lucky.
So yeah, I stood over Bounce when she was laying on the ground. I'm like, right, I'm here. Do you need me to take off your pants? this nurse looked up like, who the fuck is this guy? Just trying to make Nicole laugh, which successfully worked.
And, and then going into Geelong Hospital to see her.
Yeah, there's a photo on the Rustnut social.
That was
20 people snuck into the room all at
when
once.
that fucking lift took off and I went down before it went up. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Doing quick math as we look at how many people we've got and how many the lift could hold. Like, we should be right.
That lift went down before it went up, dude.
20 people in a lift. We snuck into the room. Disco, one of our riders, before I even got in the room, had no pants on, which was freaking hilarious. Little part of the side trip from the Prez run. But one other thing that happened on the Prez run was one of the bikes broke down. Tin Man did his
we had two bike breakdowns.
Two bike breakdowns, and we had when Tin Man broke down again, there was 20 bikes standing on the side of the road waiting for him. Yeah,
we all had solutions. There
was never a moment where I thought anyone was going to get left behind. Yeah, and that's for a group of that big. Yeah, that's a testament to,
and it creates a story to talk about, mate.
Yeah, and yeah, when we got back to end of the trip, everything's done. We got back and we were working on the bikes. This is where I actually started with this about everyone's standing around where they're doing what they need to do to get this bike fixed, and something needed to be lifted up. And I walked over and I'm like, oh, I'll grab this side, you grab that side. And then when Cock grabs me, he's like, fucking sit down, you're an old man. I'm like, you're older than me. He's like, no, don't let Jeff near the tools. I was like, fuck it, all right, I'll go sit down over here. Yeah, so just comic relief was apparently the only reason I was there.
But there was it was good after a long 2-day session. Pretty much, you had it all up, and we were all there working together to get a goal done. We had a rear wheel bearing collapse on us. And we had a solution. We had a new wheel bearing picked up on the way, and we had solutions.
Yeah.
We all worked together as a team.
That's it. It was beautiful to see. I love
that's the key to being a rust nut, is all being there, standing together, hand in hand. We've got a problem and we need how we're going to solve it. Yeah.
That's it. It's a beautiful club. It's a
magical
feeling. It's a beautiful thing to be part of. It's why your arm's covered in tattoos. Why my arms are covered in tattoos.
Exactly.
Yeah. The guys in our club, the girls in our club are unique. Rare and worth protecting. That's 100% where I stand on it anyway.
Yeah. And that's, you know what? I know you don't like to take credit for it, mate. It's all you, buddy.
No. Like, I stand by, I had an idea.
And you fucking executed it, buddy.
No, I had an idea that, like, you could build a family club. Yeah. It's the families in the club that have made it what it is, not me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, like I had the idea that it doesn't have to be just the blokes. Yeah, like that was my thing. Like a lot of I'm pretty tight with Trish. We don't do,
because it would be a different dynamic if
it would be
just blokes and not involving families.
If it wasn't the families, it's
that's right.
It's harder to get away. Yeah, like you've got to choose to go spend time with someone else and not your family. Whereas if you can bring your family, it's a bigger thing. Like that's kind of what I wanted. Yeah, and that's luckily for me, we've got the right people and it's doing really well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't like taking credit for where the club is now because
I know you don't.
It's not
credit for like meeting half the members and
it's the thing. It's the thing. Yeah, it's because we don't want. It's not a club where anyone's walking around going like this is all because of me. Yeah, everyone knows that it's because everyone's great. Yeah.
Do you think there's any topics we need to cover in future episodes, mate? You got anything?
As discussed earlier, I think leaning heavier into the mental health side of things.
Yeah, just for a little bit to take it still on topic.
When we started, one thing I kind of did wrong was I reached out to 20 people to go like, hey, do you want to be a guest? And fucking everybody said yes. And I'm like, if we're doing one a week, that's like 6 months worth of guests I've got lined up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been a bit, I contacted people in December and it's now nearly March and I haven't spoken to them since.
Yeah.
So like I'll reach back out again and go like, hey, we're still keen to get you on. It's just been a bit of time.
Yeah.
Finding the time to get everybody on as well. So there is still probably 3 months worth of bike guys,
which is good.
Sort of lined up.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think
we have content people can consume now, which was my point where I didn't go heavy at the start saying, look at what I've...
Come and have a look at our show and there's half an hour you can listen to.
Exactly right. We've now created a storyline.
Yeah.
You get to know you, get to know me, get to know some of the members in the club and some of the other clubs around us.
Yeah.
I want to broaden that a little bit.
I've been really conscious about not making this a Rust Nuts podcast.
Yeah, and I can understand that. It never started off to be that, but it's because we are, and we bleed it. We do bleed it.
Absolutely, yeah. The people we're closest to, the people whose stories we know the best are.
That's right.
Are those people.
If you feel that you could actually be a part of the show, feel free to message us and get in contact.
Yeah. I've reached out to a few presidents of other social clubs. I've reached out to people from Instagram and stuff like that.
I would really like to, I know we're bike orientated, but I'd like to step away from it for not completely, just for a little bit.
Yeah.
And let's get right down deep into some of these conversations and try and work out why a lot of these things are happening to us. Like, I still struggle with mental health. One week's different to the other.
Yeah.
Some weeks are really, really good. Other weeks I struggle. We bounce off one another. I can save it up and bottle it up and bring it into the podcast.
As you should, man. Like, that's kind of part of it. Like I said, I started this because we wanted to talk. I needed to talk to someone.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm much better at talking to you
Dude, I never really thought I had a mental health problem. I didn't. I know I've been medicated. I've had a lot of troubles. I've had partners that have been crap. And then I've, coming on the podcast, I talked about a time when I didn't even have kids, didn't even have a partner. I was living by myself and I was struggling to sleep. And I went and got meds to make me go to sleep. That fucking wasn't the problem. There was something deeper there, and I never pursued it.
Yeah.
So how long is
that's the thing.
How long has that been lingering around? Instead of working out on my issues, then
it's hard to turn a mirror on yourself. That's one of the things for me. Like, obviously, getting sober 3 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good effort, mate.
3 years is I don't think people realize how fucking hard that is.
I know.
And how much, obviously people know it's hard because otherwise everyone would fucking do it. But it's still a daily challenge for me. It's something that I still have to plan and not do. We go to the pub as the club and stuff like that. And I still have to make the choice not to have a beer, because if I have a beer, then the next day I'll probably have a beer or three.
Yeah. I sit in the smoking area and have my lunch while people smoke around me. And I still think about smoking every day, and I don't, because I know how hard the fucking road is.
Yeah, to get back out of it.
And the cost and the people around me, I want to survive for my kids, and I know it's different to being not on the alcohol, and I'm not a big alcohol fan, to be honest. That really hurt me at the Prez run. I had a whole bottle of rum by myself and started on another one, and that fucking took a couple of days to get over that. And I don't like that. So
that's it. It's waking up without a hangover is a weird feeling.
Yeah. So sobriety can be a lot of different things as well. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a guest coming up in the next couple of weeks who's going to share his story of addiction. So I won't go into too much detail because I've got to make sure he's definitely coming on.
Yeah.
So he'll share his story, and hopefully we can get a little bit of his side of it. He's into a lot more harder stuff than alcohol and cigarettes, but coming out of it and coming good is part of what he wants to talk about, and showing that there is a way out.
Yeah. I've been, so I've dabbled, but it'd be interesting to hear.
Addiction and recreation are very different.
Yeah, exactly.
When you wake up and you realize that, you can't get through the day without it, that's when it's a problem.
I've had some lucky experiences where I'd never got addicted to. If I still had it around me, I probably would have been.
Yeah.
And very, very lucky the circumstances worked out the way it did.
My ex-father-in-law said I was an alcoholic when I was about 25, and I wasn't a problem drinker, but he was like, if you come home and the first thing you do when you get home is go to the fridge and grab a beer, you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He goes, that's a habit. That's part of who you are. That's what you have to do. And I'm just like, no, I've just fucking worked hard and I want a beer. And then it was only when I stopped doing that I realized, that was nearly half my life ago that he spotted that I had a problem, and I probably should have fucking listened and done something about it then, and my life probably would have been completely different. But getting sober means I got the ADHD diagnosis as well. Part of ADHD is hyperfocus. I've actually been able to channel that into learning more about ADHD and how that, like, everything that I thought was my personality is like stuff that's part to do with that. So that's been a really mind-bending moment to go like, fuck, like had I been diagnosed at 12, how different would shit have been?
Yeah.
Like being able to hold a thought, being able to do this podcast because I can fucking remember that it's on.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like, there's little things that you don't realize. Yeah, so I want to talk to people about that. I want to get someone in who knows more about that I can pick their brain a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not just regular people. If we can get some experts out there to...
Yeah, well, that's what I'm planning on inviting some... If we both agree that we're going to change the dynamic
we can do that.
Maybe just for a little bit to see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll get some more professional people and have a bit of a chat. I've got some people I'd like to approach.
Yeah, I'd like to get through who I've spoken to.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we can mix it up.
Yeah.
Do a bit of
both. Oh, well, so we're kind of doing that now.
Yeah.
We're going to run out of rust nuts.
Oh, no, not just Russ. There are other people outside of bikers that I have spoken to. There are a few guys inside of bikes that I have spoken to as well.
Yep.
Just don't want to have reached out and then not follow through. That's who I am.
I'm actually hoping for a lot more feedback from our listeners on which way they want us to kind of go towards. If they've got any topics or something that they want us to chase up, medication side of things, and like we could get a professional in to talk about the different types of depressants and what they do.
Definitely, yeah. It's hard to get professionals in without paying them. You know what I mean?
I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Not everything's not about money, though.
We don't do this for money. We don't make anything on this. If we do get any advertising, it's going to be to buy more shit to make this better.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to pump it back into this.
Yeah.
I do want to look at learning the video editing side of stuff and like actually setting this room up as a
podcast
proper studio that you can actually sit down in chairs and like proper armchairs and have a comfortable type of environment, not just sitting at a desk. I've got some plans.
So that is your dream scenario for the podcast over time, is to end up with a lot better setup?
Definitely.
I think the sound quality myself.
Like the sound quality is incredible. Like the equipment that we bought off the bat is the next level. What about you, mate? Where do you see the podcast in the next 6 months, 12 months? What's yours kind of outlook of?
I don't think we're going to run out of content.
I don't think content's a problem. I think audience is. I'd love to grow our audience, and I don't.
Okay, yeah. So I am going to be doing a big drive on
all the socials and stuff.
My socials. Introducing my family members to my story. I'm confident. I've got a lot of friends in New Zealand. I know that they're not into motorcycles, but knowing me, they're listening to my story kind of. Yeah. They're kind of getting along the lines of meeting my kids and listening to my kids and how they're feeling.
Both of my girls want to come on the show.
So it's definitely changed the dynamic from when we first begun to what it has become and is becoming.
Yeah.
I sound like Kamala Harris, but it's fucking getting bigger and better. Yeah. And I think over time, people will find us. They'll share it with their friends. I don't think it's something that you could come into and start listening to from like any part of it. I think
you kind of have to listen to the whole lot.
You could probably.
I think you could probably go our first 3 episodes and then kind of pick any episode from there.
I think so too.
Yeah, maybe. The first one's what are we aiming for?
Who we are.
Well, you can listen to this. This episode will be a good restart for everyone. Yeah, so to know what you're in for and who you're dealing with. I would like the show to generate money.
Okay.
Not in a we quit work and we're doing well, but in a we can get guests that may need to be paid to come on and stuff like that.
That would be amazing.
You know what I mean? Like getting bigger people to grow our audience. It's one of those things. I don't have an end goal. I don't want to be Joe Rogan and worth fucking billions out of this.
No,
I just want our message to get out there. And I think what we talk about is important.
That's
the whole drive. That's my drive.
That's an understatement. I think it needs to be talked about more. And I think we should be a go-to type place for, hey, I reckon you should have a listen to these guys.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons I get respect in any leadership role I end up in is because I've never wanted to point the finger at myself. Like, I don't want any fame out of this. I don't want everyone to go like, fucking Jeff's awesome. I want them to go like, hey, we should be talking about what this guy's talking about.
Exactly.
I don't care if you don't know my name.
I would like to be invited as a guest.
Yeah, that'd be
to talk
on
somebody else's podcast.
And then let me edit it.
So I know we're not at that point yet. I think I was afraid that we would run, as in your previous podcast, that you would run out of content.
Yeah, I think
I was very strong when you were doing Pants Off.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to come on as a guest. Do you remember? I kept hitting you up saying, I want to come on as a guest. I want to come on as a guest. And I didn't.
It was a weird dynamic, that one.
It was a weird dynamic,
Yeah.
but I had a story I could tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I was trying to get at. I'm fucking a lot deeper.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking big onion.
We're getting there. We're peeling layers.
Hey, but yeah, I really wanted to come onto that, and then I was like, well, maybe I didn't want to steal your glory back then.
No.
Like, I want to start mine.
You should have.
But I think I would doing it by myself. I would have run out of content.
It's hard. It is hard to come up with this shit.
Yeah.
But together, and with kind of having the bikes and the mental health and everything, we've got a topic we want to talk about.
Yeah.
The way we've been doing our interviews is relatable, which is cool. Like, it's not, we're not picking the brains of the people. We're just like, hey, just tell us your story. It's a bit different than, like, it's not so much an interview as it is the conversation, which is what we've been trying to do.
Yeah. So lately I've been looking at camera gear and helmet microphone.
To do that.
To do.
Like a YouTube show.
Not so much. Something like maybe like a men's ride along where I can talk and we're riding the road. And
yeah, that's pretty cool.
I know it's in my head, it's like kind of running along the lines of what we're doing here.
Yeah, but on the bike.
And discussing problems and like talking about a problem, like having a topic and talking about the topic and working your way through the discussion process of doing that but like having visual and riding a nice twisty road or.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the big things for our show that makes it harder to find is everything's TikTok and Instagram reels, and I'm 48 years old. I don't know how to do all that shit. One thing, Trisha's mad on YouTube. Yeah, she watches nothing.
I love YouTube.
Yeah, but she watches nothing but these young British YouTube guys. Like some listeners might know the side men that she watches. There's like 8 blokes that came basically from high school. They're now in their late 20s that have they're fucking billionaires from this. One of the guys she watches on one of the side offshoots of this, this guy was just on the Australian I'm a Celebrity show, guy named Max.
Okay, yeah.
And he was saying that there's so much money to be made if you understand how the algorithm and how all this social media stuff works, because once someone knows who you are, your value is like ridiculous. And he said like the first thing he ever done where he got recognized, someone said, come on our show, we'll give you £1,000 to do this interview. And he's like, fucking wow.
Paying me to do this.
So he was like, that was the first time he got paid to be an influencer sort of thing. And then he said they sort of steered him towards this talent agency. And the talent agency was like, had you come to us first, they would have given you £10,000. And he's like, well, how the fuck would I know that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, how do I know what I'm worth? Like that's a thing where I think this show has value in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we've got marketable voices, a marketable look. We've got all the things.
You definitely do.
You're fucking there. Trust me. You look more like a biker than I do. If you were
I wear glasses. No, I actually don't have to wear glasses.
Yeah.
I choose to wear glasses because it makes my life
easier. Yeah. I've got my glasses. I just fucking lose them so much I don't wear them.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get to is we have something. There is something here that could be big, and it's the only thing holding it back is our understanding of how that works.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So
there's things that we could do to make it better.
So my goal isn't let's get fucking rich. It's how can we
make this bigger?
How can we make that our message get out there more and have people who need to hear it is what I'm trying to get to, I guess.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm not in it to get rich.
Like I said, I don't want to be famous. I don't want my face on a billboard. I don't care if anybody knows my name, but if everyone's talking about mental health, we've done our fucking job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm on board, bro. Let's do this together, man.
Let's work it out, eh?
Like I said, I kind of want to branch off and not do my own thing, but I want to branch off into that motorcycle vlogging kind of target.
We could easily tie that in.
I think so too, yeah.
I think easily, if we got you camera gear, you could just do a ride and then we could have that as the visual for an episode.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
While I'm riding, you listen to the podcast.
Like more having like a YouTube channel, your footage with our voices.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
okay, yeah.
Incorporating.
So if you had comms and I had comms and we could...
Not even
have the comms together.
I mean more like I mean us sitting down now, and then when we play you ride, like your footage of the ride.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So like
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Like, so we got to get you some camera gear.
Yeah, I'll get some camera gear.
We'll work.
All this overtime I'm going to have to do.
JB Hi-Fi, if you can sponsor us there.
Yeah, that'd be great. I've already looked. It's about $1,500 worth of equipment.
Well, that's what this cost. Yeah, so we're already halfway there. Yeah, so your dream is adding a visual aspect to the mental health conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, here's Sarge. We're going to ride down fucking Great Ocean Road.
Yep.
Here's a 45-minute ride.
45
Us talking for 45-minute episode, talking over
That's
the top.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. We can even have you riding to Frosty Macca's, meeting Wiggle,
Yep.
and then you and Wiggle going for a ride, and then that's an episode with us talking to Wiggle.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so like we can get it rolling like that. I think that would work.
That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, so then you can just like, it doesn't have to be so much you guys like, hey, how you going? And
Ping, ping,
chat.
ping, ping, ping.
Yeah, it's like
Great ideas. Yeah,
that's what we do. This is what we do. So we have a very loyal listener base of 58 people who listen every week without fail.
58?
Yeah, 58. Every single episode has had 58 people.
Wow, that's bigger than us. So that's stretched
we
out.
have consistently, like, so that's like day one listens. And then we have like over the course of a week, we get up to about 100 per episode roughly. So to those people who take their time out of their day every week.
I just want to thank you.
Just thank you. Yeah, like Ambo and I don't do this for the recognition. We don't do this because we want to be famous. We do.
Blown away.
We do this.
You get to see the analytics. I don't get to see.
Yeah, look, I can send it to you. Like I send you the, hey, we hit 1,000 listens.
Yeah, I know, that's amazing.
Like that's a pretty fucking cool moment when those things pop up in my feed and stuff like that. But thank you to our listeners. Give us feedback.
I think that's
hearing from you guys really does make this worth it for us. Like it's a bit more of a
agreed.
Like having just anyone reach out and go like, hey, thanks for that, or fucking whatever.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
just a thumbs up.
Yeah, the thumbs uppers are always cool.
Yep.
I'm not awesome on social media. Like I haven't got the Facebook and Instagram thing worked out completely for how to make the most out of this show.
I've deliberately...
You've been avoiding it.
Yeah, I avoid it. I don't like using my... I like to use my Facebook as a political post sometimes. I like to get my message across. Punters Politics, if you're really listening, you need somebody to listen to that's about politics in Australia and Punter Politics. Get onto him. Yeah. I've been absorbing a lot of politics lately.
Yeah, no, look, honestly, just hearing from our listeners is always great. I always get reviews from my family who are hypercritical, which I appreciate in some respects because I know when we're fucking up because someone will tell me.
Okay, so I haven't had feedback from family yet because they don't know about it, and that's about to change.
So we're going to push that out there now. I think we'll have a chat off air about your idea. I think it's a great idea.
Yep,
and I'm going to work out how to make it work.
We'll get there. All right. Well, once again, that's another episode of Twist the Throttle.
Thank you all for tuning in.
While we're here,
yeah,
what's your idea of Twist the Throttle?
What does Twist the Throttle mean to me? It means letting go, I think. Yeah. Everything full speed. Yeah. Like not just sitting back, not just cruising through life. Actually push yourself. Find your limits. Push your limits. Build new limits. My whole motto in life is be better. Yeah. So if I can push myself on the bike in life, no matter what I'm doing, that's my goal.
That's awesome.
About yourself. Where are you going with it?
Twist the Throttle?
Yeah.
It's a podcast. And it's a great one.
It's a fucking good one. Share it with your friends.
So get listening and start sharing.
Share it. Yeah. The more people listen, the more we get to feedback, the more we get to know what you guys want to hear.
I'm loving this, bud. Yeah, and I'm loving working with you, and we're going to make this something big and special. And I just want to thank you all for listening, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for riding with us today on Twist the Throttle. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Remember, no matter how tough the road gets, you're never riding alone. Stay safe, stay open, catch you on the next ride. Keep that throttle twisted.